your matchup with Makhachev, where do you have the advantage?
Me personally, I would ask him like, what's your favorite submission? Dark show. I'm gonna submit you with that.
This is a guy that's trained and coached by Khabib.
I take him close to Khabib. I will submit him closer to Khabib. I would do it to Khabib.
I think that Islam Makhachev, this is no insider knowledge. He's going to fight Ilia Topuria and he's going to have to take it and eat it like a man. I don't think Islam is scared of it. Of course, he recognizes threats and stuff like that. My guess is that'll be the fight we see, Islam versus Topuria.
I think Islam's going to be a tough matchup for him because Islam can be quite defensive and safe. I think he's going to know he needs to play it safe with Ilia because he knows Ilia's going to have that puncher's chance. But I just think them later rounds, you know, is going to be very difficult for Ilia. But Ilia can, if he puts hands on anyone, like if he traps them, you know, gets them where they don't want to be and lands a nice big shot, it's going to be game over. You know, I mean, he can knock out anyone, even in the lightweight division.
I'm going to go with probably Islam on that one. Yeah, just from size and wrestling.
Ilia Topuria expressed excitement about a potential fight with Islam Makhachev, believing it would be a major opportunity. He confidently stated that he has what it takes to defeat him and surprise the world. In his view, the victory would feel expected to him, but shocking to everyone else. Topuria drew comparisons to his past fights, where he achieved outcomes no one predicted. He referenced how he was the first to knock out fighters like Max Holloway, defying expectations. To him, facing Islam would be another moment to prove doubters wrong.
Oh, I'm so excited. That's what me, if someone asked me, I would love to fight with Islam. That would be a great one because I really know that I have the ability to shock the world. Because I know that for me, it's gonna be like, I know that I'm gonna beat him, but for the world, it's gonna be like just what happened. The same thing that happened with Wolf, the same thing that happened with Max Holloway. No one never knocked him out. No one did it. And it was a surprise for everyone.
Ilia Topuria has clearly said he will fight directly for the belt. The former featherweight champion is not interested in fighting the #1 contender because of his incredible performance in the UFC. He believes his fight with Islam will possibly happen in late summer of 2025.
There's no way that I have to fight to the #1 contender. I have to fight directly for the belt.
How soon do you think that would happen?
Personally, I don't know. I hope in summer, maybe in September. I don't know. Whenever it happens, it's gonna be.
Ilia Topuria has also made some confident statements before his fight confirmation with Islam Makhachev. In a recent podcast, the former featherweight champion said he will ask Islam what his favorite submission is and then will submit him with it.
Me personally, I would ask him like, what's your favorite submission? Whatever, I don't know. Dark show. I'm gonna submit you with that.
So if you ask him what his favorite submission is, you would do that to him?
Yeah.
Islam Makhachev is trained by a guy like Khabib Nurmagomedov, who remained unbeaten in his astonishing UFC career. However, Ilia doesn't have any pressure of that as he is looking to submit Islam in front of Khabib.
This is a guy that's trained and coached by Khabib, who, you know, 28-0, you know, stories that he's never lost a round in his life.
I take him close to Khabib. I will submit him closer to Khabib.
You'll submit him in front of Khabib?
Yeah. I take him. Khabib used to take people in his shoulder, take them down and talk to Dana. I would do it to Khabib. Like, I will take him, bah.
And then talk to Khabib.
Talk to Khabib. Khabib, I have to do it.
Meanwhile, the UFC pros have shared their predictions and thoughts about this fight. Ilia Topuria's coach, Jorge Clement, shared his thoughts about the potential fight between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria. He feels this fight should, and he would be very sad if this fight never happens. Jorge said he is unaware about Islam Makhachev's plan, but he wishes that this highly anticipated fight should happen.
I pray to do this fight because I think it's the people fight. You know, all the people want to see this fight. Me want to see this fight. I think you too. No,
big fight.
Yeah, it's a big fight. I don't know what is the plan of Islam or what he really wants, you know. But I think this is the fight.
Would you be sad if Islam went to welterweight and Ilia never got a chance to fight him?
Yeah, of course. I think I'm going to be sad because I think it's a good fight and it's a good fight for Ilia, you know.
The former UFC champion Jamahal Hill believes Ilia Topuria can catch Islam Makhachev in their potential matchup. According to Hill, Topuria has the ability to beat the Dagestani fighter and acknowledged him for his brutal power and skills. He said the former featherweight champion is known for knockout skills, and it would be exciting to him knocking out a guy like Islam Makhachev.
I believe he's capable of beating Islam. Just what I've seen and personally too, just like hand speed, the tricks and the way he plays with his striking game. I believe he's definitely capable of catching Islam.
Patricio Pitbull acknowledges Islam Makhachev as a great champion, but warns against underestimating Ilia Topuria. He compares Topuria's move up in weight to his own experience fighting Michael Chandler, saying Topuria will be stronger, faster, and won't struggle with the weight cut. While he believes it will be a good and competitive fight, Pitbull ultimately thinks Islam will do better and come out with the win.
I know Islam is a big champion, but we can't doubt Ilia Topuria because in that division, he'll be like me against Michael Chandler, very strong. And no difficulties to do the cutting weight, so he will be very fast and dangerous. So I believe it can be a good fight, but think about Volkanovski and Islam Makhachev. I think Ilia Topuria will do better.
Do you think he'll win?
Yes.
Jan Błachowicz said it would be a very good fight to watch. He believes Islam Makhachev is in his prime right now and that nobody can stop him. According to Błachowicz, Makhachev is at the peak of his career. If things continue this way, he'll remain unstoppable for a couple more years.
Right, it's gonna be very good fight for watch. So, but I think Islam is like, you know, right now he got his, you know, prime time, and nobody will stop him. Couple more years, I think so.
The UFC lightweight fighter Chase Hooper was really impressed with Islam Makhachev's last performance, particularly with how much his striking has improved. He compares Makhachev to Khabib Nurmagomedov, noting that Khabib was more of a pure grappler, whereas Islam, along with Umar and other newer generation Dagestani fighters, is much more well-rounded. Hooper feels this is a tough challenge for everyone else in the division, but despite that, he believes Islam will still come out on top in the fight.
Honestly, I was really impressed. Islam's last time out, I felt like his striking was really improving. So I think that's, like, especially when you look back at like Khabib's fights, like he's much more of a pure grappler. And then you see Islam and you see Umar and these newer generation Dagestani guys. I think they're a lot more well-rounded, which sucks for everybody else in the division. But I don't know. I think Islam still takes it.
Carlos Plates thinks the fight is maybe a 50-50 matchup, or perhaps 60-40 in favor of Islam Makhachev. He acknowledges that Makhachev is really good, with excellent cardio, strength, striking, and grappling. Plates points out that the key factor will be how long Ilia Topuria can defend against takedowns and keep landing powerful strikes. The UFC welterweight fighter believes not many fighters are able to maintain that for all 5 rounds.
Bro, I think it's maybe 50-50, you know, that fight, or maybe 60-40 to Islam Makhachev, because he's really good. He's having a really good cardio, really good, really strong, really good. His striking is good also, and also he's good grappler. It's gonna depend how long Topuria gonna stay like defense takedown and keep it hitting really hard, you know? And I think not too many guys can do that by 5 rounds.
Daniel Rodriguez also sees the fight as a major step up for Ilia Topuria and leans toward picking Islam Makhachev. He mentions having close friends in the division and respects Ilia's win over Max Holloway, calling it a big shock. However, the UFC welterweight fighter questions whether Ilia's power will carry over into the lightweight division, suggesting it might not be as effective. Ultimately, Rodriguez picks Makhachev to win.
It's a big step up. That's a big step up for Ilia, and I'm gonna have to go with Makhachev. I don't know, got a couple of title defense here, and I don't feel like, even though Ilia did put out, Max Holloway, which is a big shocker. I just don't think he might have that power in the lightweight division.
Christian Rodriguez points out that Ilia Topuria originally started as a grappler and has very strong grappling skills, which many people might overlook. He notes that while Ilia enjoys standing and trading, he's also extremely smart and patient with his striking. According to Rodriguez, Ilia doesn't just throw wild shots, he chooses the right moments to land big ones. Because of this combination of fight IQ and power, Rodriguez picks Ilia to win the fight.
What people don't know either is like he started off as a grappler. He has very, very good grappling. I think he's just one of those guys that loves to stand and trade. But I think if he connects one with the thing with Ilia, he's so smart and patient, where he's not just throwing big shots. Is like he's smart on when he throws his big shots. So I have Ilia winning that fight.
Chris Gutierrez gives his thoughts on the fight, stating that he actually picks Ilia Topuria to win. He highlights the contrasting styles of the two fighters. Islam Makhachev, according to Gutierrez, is a fighter who chips away at his opponents over time, wearing them down with his grappling and control. In contrast, Ilia Topuria is always looking to create damage, no matter the range, whether it's in close or at a distance. Gutierrez believes that Ilia's aggressive approach will give him the edge in this matchup.
Yeah, I've thought about that one. I actually think Ilia, just because the type of styles that they bring, one of them is he chips away at you. Islam chips away at you and tires you down, but Ilia is just trying to create damage at any range he can get to. He's trying to create damage.
Chris Gutierrez explains his pick for Ilia Topuria, emphasizing the different types of fatigue fighters experience. He points out that being controlled on the ground by Islam is a different exhaustion compared to taking hard strikes from Ilia. Gutierrez praises Ilia for beating two of the greatest featherweights, Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski. While acknowledging Islam's champion status, he believes the fans are the real winners, but ultimately picks Ilia to come out on top.
Being late, being wrestled and being laid on is a different tiring than like being hit. That's a different tiredness, you know what I mean? So I think Ilia has shown, he can, how can you go against him? He's put two of the greatest featherweights out in Max and Volk. But Islam's a champ for a reason, Again, I think the fans are the winners in this one, but I'm going to go with Ilia.
The UFC middleweight fighter Akhmat Bekov thinks Islam Makhachev will easily win this fight. He said Islam is a lot bigger than Topuria, so he won't face much difficulty in beating him.
I think it's easy fight for Islam Makhachev. He's just bigger.
Similarly, Luis Gurule also picks Islam Makhachev to win, stating that Islam is at the top of his game and has a massive presence in the lightweight division. The UFC flyweight fighter acknowledges Ilia Topuria's great grappling, but believes Islam holds the advantage in this matchup, especially since Ilia is moving up in weight.
I think Islam gets it. I think Islam's just at the top of his game, and he's huge for that weight class, and Topuria is going up, so yeah, I think Islam's gonna be able to take it. I know Ilia has great grappling and stuff, but I think Islam has the advantage in that one.
UFC middleweight fighter Gerald Meerschaert leans slightly toward Ilia Topuria based on technique, noting that while Islam Makhachev uses a more diverse striking arsenal, including kicks, Ilia is extremely disciplined with his hands. However, he expresses uncertainty about how Ilia's skills will translate to the lightweight division. Meerschaert points out that Islam is a large 155er, and although Ilia won't be small, moving up from featherweight could present challenges. He admits it's tough to pick against either fighter, as both have dominated their divisions.
I would say, based off of straight technique, what I've seen, I would lean towards Ilia, only because I think his stand-up isn't as diverse. Like Islam actually kicks a lot, but Ilia is really disciplined with his hands. It's just, I don't know. And I don't think he's going to get bullied necessarily. I just don't know how it's going to translate up to 55, because Islam is not a small 55er by any stretch of the imagination. Not that Ilia is going to be, tiny, but when you've only been fighting 45ers and then you're going up a weight class, it's only 10 pounds, but it's Islam's a big dude. And it's hard to pick against somebody that's like, they've both ran through everybody, but
Gerald Meerschaert acknowledges Ilia Topuria's sharp boxing technique and points out that Islam Makhachev has been caught before, referencing the Dustin Poirier fight where Islam took some clean shots. He believes that if Islam leaves similar openings and Ilia's power carries up to lightweight, it could spell serious trouble. Meerschaert also notes that Topuria is a very skilled grappler, but he's unsure how that will hold up against a bigger opponent like Islam. In the end, he picks Makhachev, mainly due to the uncertainty around how Topuria's skills will translate at 155.
Straight boxing technique, and only because I've seen Islam get caught before. Like, even in the Poirier fight, Dustin landed some good shots up top. If he leaves an opening like that against Topuria and his power translates like I think it will, he could have him in some serious trouble. And Topuria is supposed to be a really, really good grappler as well. But I just don't know how that's gonna. I'm gonna pick Islam only because I don't know how it's gonna transfer when he goes up against a bigger opponent like that.
The UFC lightweight fighter Jai Herbert isn't entirely sure how the fight would play out, but thinks it would be a great matchup. He points out that Islam Makhachev has been on a dominant run lately, making it hard to pick against him.
I'm not sure, man. It'd be a good fight, but I say, obviously Islam's been on a tear recently, hasn't he? So it's hard to back against Islam.
Torres Finney admits that it's tough to pick between two of his favorite fighters, but ultimately goes with Ilia Topuria. He explains that while many may overlook Topuria's wrestling, he's been doing it since his regional fights and grew up wrestling. Over time, he transitioned into boxing and became a much better striker with knockout power. Finney believes Topuria has the power to not only threaten Islam Makhachev, but also potentially keep him at bay. He picks Topuria to win, showing a strong preference for the Georgian fighter.
Now look, man, I love Topuria, but I love Islam. That's like two of my favorite fighters to watch. So, man, that's hard because Topuria has the wrestling. People sleep on, but Topuria, if anybody has watched Topuria coming up, you gotta watch his regional fights. He did nothing but take guys down and sub him. He did nothing but wrestle. So, and he grew up wrestling. That's all he did. And he translated, he became a boxer as time went on. He became a much better boxer throughout. He got the power to knock out Islam. I definitely think he got the power to stave off Islam. Man, give me Topuria. Give me Topuria. I actually like Topuria now.
However, Gillian Robertson picks Islam Makhachev to win, though she admits it's hard to discount Ilia Topuria. She believes Makhachev is the more well-rounded fighter overall, and sees his ground game as a major factor. In her view, there's a real possibility that Makhachev could even find a finish on the ground.
I gotta go with Makhachev on that one. I don't know. It is hard to discount Topuria at all, but I think Makhachev is just more well-rounded as a fighter, and I think he might even find a finish on the ground.
Moreover, Mitch Raposo thinks it's a tough matchup but leans toward Islam Makhachev. He appreciates Ilia Topuria's boxing style but feels Islam can do it all and is the bigger fighter. Raposo believes that unless Ilia catches Islam early, Islam will likely win 3 out of 5 rounds, using his takedowns and well-rounded striking. He praises Islam's awareness, defense, and striking ability, ultimately edging toward him for the win.
Damn, that's a good one. I like Ilia's style. I like the way he boxes and stuff like that, but I just feel like Islam can do it all, and he's a bigger guy, and so I feel like unless Ilia catches him early, I feel like that's because of how it goes. Ilia's either going to catch him early, or I think Islam will probably win 3 out of 5, kind of get those takedowns when he needs to get them. And Islam's got a really good striking style. He has a good eye. He's got good defense. He's very aware. So I'm edging towards Islam on that one.
Randy Brown leans toward picking Islam Makhachev, but acknowledges that it's a hypothetical matchup. He suggests that Islam could win by decision, but also knows that Ilia Topuria has the potential to knock him out.
Probably Islam, but I don't know. It's hypothetical. I don't know. Islam could beat him in a decision, or Topuria could knock him the hell out.
Myron Santos picks Islam Makhachev to win the fight against Ilia Topuria. The UFC featherweight fighter rates Islam as one of the best fighters in the world.
I'm gonna go with Islam. I think he's one of the best, if not the best fighter in the world.
Cameron Smotherman is also backing Ilia Topuria to beat the champ Islam Makhachev in their hypothetical fight. The UFC bantamweight fighter feels only the Georgian fighter can stop the Dagestani star.
I think I would take Topuria. I think Topuria would stop him.
The former UFC champion Henry Cejudo said Khabib could be the reason Islam doesn't fight Ilia Topuria. Henry thinks a fight between Justin Gaethje and Islam Makhachev is more likely to happen, as Justin is among the top contenders after Arman Tsarukyan. Henry Cejudo said, "I think Khabib Nurmagomedov is going to step in and be like, Islam needs to fight the #1 contender. So for that reason, I am guessing it's going to be Justin Gaethje versus Islam Makhachev during International Fight Week." And Henry Cejudo also talked about the potential debut fight of Ilia Topuria in the lightweight division. The former double champion feels Dustin Poirier is a strong contender to fight Topuria, as he wants to fight legends before his retirement. Henry Cejudo said Dustin Poirier did say he is only fighting legends in his retirement fight, and Ilia Topuria just changed his name to Legend. However, Justin Gaethje is interested in fighting Islam Makhachev, and he called him out for a fight in June. He knows that he is moving towards the end of his career, and he wants to get an opportunity at the belt against the champ Islam Makhachev. As we wrap up, it's clear that this matchup between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev has everyone excited. With contrasting styles and skills, it's tough to call. One thing's for sure, this is a fight you won't want to miss. Stay tuned as we wait for the fight confirmation and to see who will come out on top.